Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 16th episode of Kouryer podcast. Today, I'm joined with Kristian Levin from Denmark. He's a 3D artist professionalizing in digital retouch and CGI, and currently employed at weareeli company. And well, let's begin. Give a little introduction on how you got into visual arts and design.
That's a long story, but I started I think it must be like 15 years ago now. I started as a retouch apprentice at a company that's closed now, and then I had a couple of years doing photography. I studied photography and I studied graphic design. And I did a year of photography at a place called Bureau. And then I was hired at the professional retouch company called retouch. I worked there full time for around 8 to 10 years. I'm actually not sure. And then, well, I'd always during my time at retouch kind of dabbled on and off in 3D and 3D design, with my major focus on cinema 4D. But I could never really get the results I wanted. It always kind of looked bad, right? And then, I think 3 years ago now, my friend introduced me to Octane Render, and it actually gave me the results I wanted. So I started dabbling even more in 3D in cinema, and then I was contacted by a friend I used to study with who works at the weareeli, and he actually asked me if I wanted a job, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing in 3D. I have no idea. And we don't care. This thing is gonna be big. We want to get on the bandwagon. So they hired me, and I kind of hit the ground running. We didn't think there was going to be any jobs for me, but I've been working full-time 3D ever since.
All right. And were you originally studying art and design, or you were pursuing another career path?
Well, before studying graphic design and photography, I studied Japanese at Copenhagen Business School for a year, but I kind of figured that wasn't the way for me. It wasn't what I was supposed to do, and by chance and by luck, I got this apprenticeship at this place where they did the graphic design and retouch, because I've always been interested in like Photoshop and drawing and so on. So, and then they just asked me if I was able to retouch, and they gave me a little assignment, and I did the job pretty well, I guess, since they wanted me as an apprentice. And then we kind of made an education for me, because there weren't anywhere in Denmark you could study the profession of retouching, because it was also new back then. So there's no place where you could study it. So we kind of made an education where I studied photography combined with graphic design, and then I of course had my time at the company. So yeah.
All right. And what is your main branch of design that you're focusing on? And tell us about your experience from the start of it till now.
Well, professionally, I do a lot of hi-fi stuff, like speakers and headphones. But we also do a couple of things for the Danish Royal Theatre. they often have some really cool projects for us in pure 3D, because they've figured that we can do anything now. And I've done a couple of beer commercials, and I'm actually working on one right now. So I guess that's my focus, but I'm pretty much a generalist. I've done interior too, and so on. We kind of take a lot of things on.
And how does your design process usually go anytime you want to start working on a design project?
Well, it kind of depends. If it's something I want to do for myself, it's often like something I want to explore in various programs. Like today, I'm just going to focus on glass and caustics or cloth sims or whatever, cloud simulations, and then I turn it into something I post on Instagram. But when I'm working with clients, they often have a clear idea where they want to go. Like I worked on a job with the Danish Royal Theatre for the Hobbit. They were going to do the Hobbit, and it was going to be in a theater that's outside. So they had a pretty clear idea of what they wanted. They wanted a door in a hill, in a hole, inside of a forest. So working with clients, they often have like a mood board and a drawing, so I know where to go with the project. But my own process is more like I have an idea, and then I start just looking on Pinterest and looking for tutorials of how to do stuff. And I think my if you have to like boil it down, my process is curiosity and to get better at what I do.
Well, yeah, I mean, that kind of makes sense, but I was kind of like trying to ask about how would you approach like a project you were commissioned with. For example, if a client would have given you a job, given you a task of like, I don't know, create a scene for beer, for example, advertisement, as you mentioned, you did before. Like from the start to bottom, how would you plan it and go on about like doing it actually, you know?
Well, I received the initial drawings and their artwork, and have a talk with the client of where do we want to go with this, what are we going to do, what's the color palette, and so on. And then like the beer commercial I'm working on right now, I got the kind of cans the beers are supposed to be in, and so I start modeling those and get all the basic things done while the client is working on the design and the idea. I kind of never have that much freedom on my jobs. That's probably why I do so many things for Instagram too, just to be my own boss, right? But yeah, well, then I'll send the client something and be like, this is where I am in the process. What do you think? Do you have any corrections? And that's kind of always been my process, because I come from retouching, and the photographers often have a quite specific idea of where they want to go, and then I just have to like finish it and make it the way they envisioned it, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense when you put it that way about like the fact that a lot of times clients don't really give like the artist that much creativity. But of course, I mean, a lot of times it's just part of the job. And I mean, there's something you mentioned that, you know, I've just been thinking about. You said that you're pretty much a generalist, and I think when I say this, I speak for most artists, that for like most artists who are like active employees or freelancers. Like here's what I'm trying to say. Sorry, it's just on the tip of my tongue. like as a whole general design as a whole general skill is right now in such a short demand. It's in such a high demanding world right now, and yes, you might not be designing in a niche area, but you can apply your design skills to learn like new technologies and just improve in the other areas of design, which will lead to other jobs. So I mean, I don't think it's necessarily like just being general. It's also about being a multifaceted designer, if you know what I mean.
Well, what I
And
generalist, what I actually mean is in the branches of 3D, you often, in bigger 3D companies, you often have like a guy who focuses on texturing and one who focuses on modeling and one who focuses on lighting and so on. I do everything. So that's where the generalist part comes into to my work.
and with which softwares you started your 3D and CGI work with?
Um, I do all my main modeling and building and compositioning in Cinema 4D. I do most of my rendering in Houdini. No, in in Octane Render, of course, and I do some of my sims. Like I really like doing clouds, and clients actually often ask for them. I do them in Houdini and so on. There's a lot of plugins for cinema rights, like Real Flow for liquid sims, and I've dabbled a bit in Marvelous Designer for cloth sims. But lately, I've been going into Houdini and doing cloth sims there, and I think I'm actually going to stay there because they are a lot better, in my opinion. Then I use Photoshop, and I have used Photoshop for like a lifetime. I use InDesign and Illustrator. And when I do video editing, I have to do some video editing too sometimes, and especially when clients ask for 3D videos, I do the editing in DaVinci Resolve and Fusion.
And what is your opinion on Blender? Have you used it?
I've never used Blender, but I really love that it's free and it's really getting there. A lot of people are talking very good about it, saying good things about it. I've never actually opened it because the first 3D program I opened it was Cinema, and I kind of just stuck there. But the cloth sims and the modeling in Blender looks really good, and they got some cool smoke sims too. Even though Octane just got like a prop, I don't know what it is, but they're working together with a program called Embergen that does some incredible smoke and fire sims too. But so I guess I'm fine with Blender. I don't really have an opinion. I like it, and it's really good that people can get easily into 3D without spending any money. You can just download the program and go, right?
Yeah, and of the next question, who are your favorite artists and designers that have inspired you the most?
That's a hard one. I've got a lot of photographers, and on the tip of my tongue, I think it's Anne Leibovich. She's done some incredible commercial photography, and like I really like all the old guys. Of course, I can't remember their names now, but a lot of guys in photography, and of course, I'm from Denmark, so a lot of Danish photographers too. And I've actually gotten to work with a lot of them since I'm in the branch of retouching, so that's really cool. But classic arts too, I like. It's I like Magritte, and I like Dali, the surreal stuff, and I think it shines through in some of my pictures too, the ones I do for myself. but I find inspiration in a lot of places, like anything from Japanese manga to art house films and big blockbusters. So I think that's about it. Yeah, books, a lot of books too.
Yeah, and what is the main subject of your artworks, and what made them interesting to you? I mean, by artworks, I mean your personal projects. Anything. It can be anything.
Like the ones I do for myself.
Yes, those, and also, yep, pretty much
Yeah,
the things you do for yourself.
I think like I really focus on details and on trying to make it lifelike, and but at the same time being like supernatural. Like almost all of my pictures are not possible, right? The ones I do in 3D, because it's always something that's interested me in retouching and the compositioning of pictures. And when I like started 3D, I pretty quickly figured out that you can do anything in here. You don't need a photo as a base. You can just build the photo ground up, and you can literally control the sun. So I think even if I don't want to, I kind of just make things that are not real but looks real. Well, I'll try to make it look real anyway.
And how to simplify the start of the learning process for 3D and 3D art, basically?
Well, the thing I usually do is I either see something on Instagram or Pinterest or wherever, and then I get this idea, and then I start researching. So, like, if how would I put a cloud into a room with a leather sofa? Then I just look into YouTube or Google or whatever, and start searching tutorials like how to create the perfect cloud and how to build a sofa and so on. And that way I figure out how to do stuff and how to learn stuff. And that was my initial way of learning Octane and all the other programs I dabble in now. Like, how do I do a cloth theme? What's best program to do cloth themes in? And how do I get these materials to look like stained glass and so on? And it's a lot of Googling, a lot of YouTubing, and a lot of research. But every time you like finish a project, I feel like I end up with something cool, and I have learned like a ton.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually a really great idea of the concept of like learning stuff by doing projects. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's also pretty useful for anyone who wants. It's basically a good kind of general ideology and concept for learning any skill.
Yeah, like in the start, when I was just getting into 3D, I like had these little points I had to check off on a project. Like, today I'm gonna do something with plants, or this week I'm gonna do something with plants. I'm gonna try and create realistic plants, and I might want to make a move. And next project would be like, I have to UV this, even if it's just a box. I have to UV something in a scene, and use a cool HDRI. So I had these little check marks of things I had to do to get better. So I wouldn't keep dabbling in the same projects, right?
All right, and any advice and tips for a good portfolio and resume for artists?
Put up the things you like. Don't add too many things. Less is more, I think. and keep creating. Like if you haven't got cool stuff you think is cool enough, just create some more. I know that sounds stupid, but when I was working as a retoucher, I would often reach out to photographers, especially young and upcoming photographers, and go like, "You want to make a project together? Have you got any pictures you need retouching on? Because I've got these ideas I want to try out and so on." So I guess that's it. The times I've built my portfolio to show to clients and to show to potential new workplaces and so on, I've always really tried to cook it down to the boil it down to the absolute best stuff. So you have a lot of stuff that they'll blow the client away instead of just a lot of stuff, because people will get tired.
Yeah, and what are you working on right now that you can tell us about? What kind of project is it? I know you kind of mentioned that you were like working on a beer advertisement, but I was wondering if you could get into the details of it a bit more.
Yeah, so this is a non-alcoholic beer, a Danish company called Tuborg. It's a sister brand for Carlsberg. I don't think Tuborg is sold that many places other than Denmark. So it's like beer cans on a table on an orange background with a lot of droplets, and they are infused with one is infused with mango passion and the other is infused with citrus. So there's gonna be some fruits and different things on the table too, and I of course have to make that look photorealistic, right? For myself, I'm working on like this is one of the things where I had this. I wanted to learn cloth themes in Houdini, so I downloaded the apprentice version of Houdini, which is free too, and started Googling and YouTubing cloth theme tutorials, and now I've got a really cool cloth theme I've exported and moved over into Cinema 40, and I'm right now texturing and finishing it up in Octane render, and I think it's gonna be pretty cool. It's some of the prettiest cloth I've ever done, so I'm really happy with it. I'm also working on, I think, 100 pack shots of headphones. So that's pretty straightforward texturing and lighting, and then just doing it 100 times, right? so, so that's the boring but well-paid part of my job. And that's. Have I got anything else? Yeah, I'm gonna do some video next week, but that's pretty basic video editing and a bit of keying. I don't think I have any other projects now.
All right, then what area beside the area you're working on right now are you interested to explore and learn in the future? Like, let me reiterate my question. If you had like extra time and energy and like, let's say, money and resources and anything to pursue another skill or craft, what would it be?
Another skill or craft? That's a hard one. I really like my job. it's a job with a hobby built in, or vice versa. It's a hobby with a job in it. So what I really would love to work out some more, but everything is closed due to COVID. I think I would like to sail, have a small boat and learn how to sail. That's probably a dream, because Me and my wife just moved to another city. We used to live in Copenhagen, so we moved a bit outside Copenhagen. And we're like surrounded by water. So now I see everybody here has got a tiny sailboat, and I think that would be pretty cool.
All right, that sounds actually a really nice plan, maybe for future. All right. With all the things that have been said and done, to conclude all the things that we already discussed, give us a roadmap for someone who's zero in visual arts and wants to get to the place you are in terms of skill sets. Like if they want to become a 3D artist and like just professionalizing in CGI, like where to start, best tools, softwares, what are the steps? You know, if you could explain to us in full detail.
Well, I think like 3D is really a place. It's going places right now. Like we are hiring at my company, and I know other places in Copenhagen that's constantly looking for 3D people. So if you just pick up a render engine, one of the popular ones, because people right now, it seems to be like stylized stuff that's really popular, right? And like realistic 3D renders, like the bear thing I'm doing, and the headphones, and I think like taking a picture of a pair of headphones is in the past in like a couple of years. So 3D artists will be I don't know, rated highly. I was going to use a Danish phrase, but it doesn't make sense in English. But anyways, like pick up a good render engine and just start learn to texture and do projects you really like, and start animating, and you can do it in any program. I know Blender is highly regarded, and it's winning more people over, and I actually saw like bigger film companies are starting to use it, but I would recommend using Cinema 4D because it's just industry standard, and it's easier to get hired if you're using the same program as the lead 3D artist at a company, right? So learn the ropes of the program, get good at modeling, get good at using the deformers and the little things, and the various 3D programs. And I think like rendering and lighting, look at how photographers take pictures. What kind of lights do they use, and how are they lighting the scene, and what makes it look cool, and just learn from that. And if you get good at texturing and lighting, and can do a bit of modeling, you're going places.
All right, I think that's about it. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And where can people contact you if they had any questions, or just wanted to get in touch?
Well, they can always contact me at work. Like that's weareeli.dk, and my mail is Kristian at weareeli.dk. But I'm on Instagram as No Creative Abode.
Yeah, I'll put that in the caption so people can easily access.
Easier. And I think you can find most of my links there. I'm on Behance, and that's Behance / Kristian Levin, I think. I'm not even sure. That's about it.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us. I hope everyone is having a good day, and till next episode, bye everyone.
Bye.